So I'm Jason. I'm going to be your tour guide, and we're going to spend the next hour and a half together. And I'm excited about what all that's going to bring. We'll try to be practical. I'm going to have to change my mode because we just did that 5-minute Ignite session, and I'm used to saying a lot of things really, really fast. And if I keep at that speed, we're going to be done in about 10 minutes. Some of you were a little too happy about that, so I don't know. But I'm really excited to be here. How many of you guys were in the You Got Technology session yesterday? If you could raise your hand. Okay, that gives me an idea. I want to be cautious about stories. But I want to give you just a snapshot of how I got here because it surely was a journey of twists and turns. I wanted to be an optometrist. I want to change the world one eyeball at a time. And something happened. I worked this summer camp, and I got connected with these kids, and I thought, this is what I need to do. And I changed my degree. I got a degree in psychology, which means you cannot get a job. So then I went, and I had to get a master's degree, so I went and got a master's degree, and I became a mental health counselor, which means you don't get paid, and you have to work all the holidays. So it just wasn't working out very well. But I learned two things. I learned this. I learned that you are supposed to ask about feelings, because that's what you do. And then you reflective listen, right? So the kids would come in to see me and I would say, well, how are you feeling today? And they say, I'm feeling bad and I hate you. And then you repeat. So what you're saying is, you feel bad and you hate me. And then they say, yes. And then you do it over and over. That is not an effective way to elicit some behavior change, right? Because nobody really feels good about that at all. So I went, and long story short, I ended up in a classroom with students with emotional behavior disorders. And the thing that is true for all of us is that we do what we know. And what I knew was to ask about feelings and reflective listen. So I came to my first student, and this was this young lady. And you young ladies with behavior problems are tougher than like 16 boys all put together. And I said, would you like to do some math? And she said, no, I don't want to do your math. And I said, well, how are you feeling? And she said, well, I'm feeling, and went this whole conversation. And I, at the end of that interaction, thought, well, I have established positive therapeutic rapport, and this young lady will engage in the math worksheet behaviors tomorrow because of what we just did. But guess what happened the very next day? I said, hey, let's do some math. And she said, well, can we talk for a minute? And I was thinking, good connection. And she was thinking, sucker, I don't have to do this math, right? So I had to learn something different. I had to learn something more. And today we don't have much time, but hopefully you'll walk away with some nuggets. Amanda and I, we met 2 years ago, and we had the opportunity to actually present together in some webinars. And she's a speech therapist. I'm sure you all know this. But I was intrigued and amazed by the behavioral intervention methodology and knowledge that she had. It was just unbelievable. There was just so many things that she did intuitively. And then there's many things that, most of it she does systematically and intentionally. So it's a real honor to have the opportunity to present alongside Amanda. But would you take a moment?
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Jason. So just what he said. Do I need to say something else to that? Not really. No. Yeah, I do. And people that have heard me talk know. And we are all that, whether you're an educator or a speechy or whatever awesome role you play in the lives of the children you're working with. If we don't manage these behaviours that we're seeing, then the core of what we want to get to help them to learn something, whatever our goals are, just can't be achieved. So yes, maybe I did stuff, but that was just out of necessity. It was born out of necessity of, you're trying to get all these, you've got your perfect session planned with everything that you want to get done, and you get none of it done, because they run around the room screaming the whole time or whatever.
So we've got a video that we want to show you guys. And maybe, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I just want to see if you can relate to a situation similar at least. if you can relate to, not so much with your own personal children, but a situation or a scene like that, would you just give me a raise so you can experience it, right? Now, see what you see on the screen to me is some of the most difficult pieces about that whole interaction. Look, I can handle a kid screaming and yelling and fussing and all that, but really what's tough is all those other adults that are watching me.